Hall of Fame. First year of eligibility. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But he's 41. And that brings with it some challenges. Welcome to 7-Eleven That's Hockey alongside Dave Poulin in studio, Pierre LeBrun in his home office. I'm Gino Retta. Pierre, how did this deal finally come together?
Well, what I'm being told is that Leafs GM Kyle Dubas reached out to Joe Thornton last Friday night, near the end of the first day of free agency, and got the ball rolling on this process and this conversation. Eventually, Joe Thornton would also talk to Sheldon Keefe. And it's interesting because, as some people know, the Leafs have had a few cracks at this over the last number of years. In the summer of 2017, under Lou Lamoriello and Mike Babcock, the Leafs tried to lure Thornton to Toronto along with Patrick Marleau. They would only get Marleau. Thornton stayed behind. But I know from talking to Thornton over the years that that approach from the Leafs certainly meant a lot to him. And it's one of those things I think that he filed away. This time the timing was better. He sees in the Leafs, I think, a team that can contend for a Stanley Cup, which we know is missing on his Hall of Fame resume. But on a very personal level, I think this is going to be huge for mom and dad, too. I think that his parents are really going to dig this. We know that Joe Thornton grew up in St. Thomas, Ontario, so all kinds of reasons for him to finally say yes to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think Leaf fans are going to have fun with this story. This is a player that is in many ways larger than life. His passion for the game is unreal, and he's coming for the bargain basement price of $700,000.
Great for Joe, great for his family. But Dave, how much do you think he's got left, and how do you think they use him?
Well, that's the big question, is how much he has left at 41 years old. He had a very down season last year, a great season the year before. But what he does, he passes the puck very well. He can still, he can still get around in the offensive zone. He doesn't play a strictly up and down game, Gino. He possesses the puck, and that's good. Where do you put him? I think you start him off at third line center. You move Kerfoot over to the wing. Kerfoot can help a lot with the down low responsibilities, but you're going to put him in the best possible position for him out of the gate, and that's arguably third line left wing, and then see how it settles, because the bottom six for the Leafs are very, very different, and the pieces aren't set in place at all. Put him in the best possible place to shine early.
All right, Dave, Kyle Dubas was clearly one of his offseason with a mandate. He re-signed Spezza, brought in Simmons, Vesey, Bogosian, and now Joe Thornton. What do you think that mandate is, and what do you think of that mandate?
I think the primary part of it was to change the locker room, to change the makeup of the locker room, to change, obviously, the age dynamic changes in the locker room. You bring a 41-year-old in, a 32-year-old, a 30-year-old with different experiences who've been in various places. Some of those young guys have only been in Toronto. They only know Toronto. These guys know different places. But when you look at it, Gino, the only way to do that was to drastically change the philosophy of the third and fourth lines. Because up to that point, Kyle Dubas' philosophy had been speed and skill, top to the bottom lineup, go, 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 and possess the puck and put pressure on the other team through your skill and through your speed. Well, they're much, much slower. They're bigger. They're certainly stronger than they were, but they bring a different side of the voice to the locker room. So it's interesting to see, but in my experience, Gino, when I was an older player in the NHL, you have to play well to be a factor and a voice in that locker room. If you're not a contributing player, and a strongly contributing player, your voice simply doesn't carry as much weight.
Well, and I give Kyle Dubas a lot of credit here, because I think he's finally done something that he resisted so far in his term as Leafs GM, is that looking at other elements of building a team. Listen, let's not kid ourselves. If the Leafs finally break through and have a deep playoff run, it's going to be because of Matthews, Marner, Nylander, and Riley. But a lot like the Tampa Bay Lightning a year ago, didn't blow up their core. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning just won the Cup because of Hedman and Kucherov, their core. But you know what the Lightning did do? They added other elements around their skill. They brought in a Cup winner in Pat Maroon last summer. They eventually added a Blake Coleman, a Barclay Goodrow, a Zach Bogosian. Well, now, of course, Bogosian added to the mix in Toronto. Wayne Simmons, impeccable character, physical player. Joe Thornton, Hall of Famer, leads by example. He will drag people into the fight. You look at the tweaking of this roster in terms of, I think, the impact it has on the dressing room, on and off the ice. The skill hasn't changed. I mean, this is still a very skilled team. It was already there, but the Leafs have admitted and addressed some of the intangibles around it, and I think it's the right way to go.
The Leafs definitely need a change. They've made those changes. Now we'll wait and see if they work. There's no doubt the St. Thomas, Ontario native is a first ballot Hall of Famer, as I say. His 14th all-time points list, 7th on the all-time assists list. And players, among active players, first in points, first in assists. And get this, Joe Thornton is 443 days older than his new head coach, Sheldon Keefe, and 7 years older